All right, let's talk about new releases and go right to Spider-Man.
That's a new release.
Is that the one you want? Because I know there's another one that you guys are both playing. You guys want to do that one first? And
Let's
then
do Spider-Man first.
Spider-Man.
I'll talk about some other stuff later, but let's talk about Spider-Man.
The Spider-Man?
Marvel's Spider-Man.
Marvel's Spider-Man? Would you call it amazing and or spectacular? Huh?
I would call it Marvel's Spider-Man because that's the name of the game.
Right.
Even though the cover just says Marvel Spider-Man.
It is listed under M for Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Really? That's weird.
Well, it's a very good game. It's really beyond very good. It's really
doesn't need to be this good.
Yeah, I was trying to picture in my mind how they could make it better, and I was having a hard time, really.
Oh, they could totally make it better.
Well,
I mean, but within reality and stuff,
right?
I mean, some of the chase missions can get a little tedious.
Okay, I mean,
again, that's like, this is my biggest criticism of the game is that the chase missions can get tedious. I'm not saying that's like an oh my god, don't buy a complaint. I'm just, I don't want us to all just, turn this into a Beatles jack-off session.
Well, it's going to.
Yes.
Because this is the type of thing that I can't.
That was gross.
I can't nitpick about this game too much.
No.
Like, it's just. So the structure of it, it's known. Like, this is Amazing Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2, the movie? That game?
Yes.
That's this. You can see that game in this game. This is just like, I don't know, 15, 20 years later, however long it's been.
Sure. Different factions.
Right. But it's just so well done, and it's not mean-spirited, which is nice. Like, so many of these that you can play it and have kids around, and it's not trying to make Spider-Man super gritty or anything. It's just
it's not an edgy movie. It's not a gritty reboot.
Yeah, it's just it just plays it like Spider-Man.
Spider-Man never looks at the camera and says, "Fuck Batman."
Right. There's nothing like it's just like the tone of it is just like spot on what it needs to be. And I think they did a good job of, like, it's got all the collectibles and everything, but they all seem manageable. Like, getting around Manhattan, it's big, but it's not too big. There's collectibles, but there's not too many collectibles. The way stuff unlocks, like, I guess if you just like mainstream through the story, which I have not been doing, I go around, get all the collectibles until I don't have any more collectibles, and then I do the story. But it just feels like the map is never too full of icons to where it's overwhelming. True. And there's always just something like
I actually like the way that they handle the unlocks on things like that too, where it's sort of tiered. Like, there's going to be more stuff coming, but you can kind of clear out the stuff that's there, and then when more you do some, go back to the story, and then they add more stuff to it. I kind of like that for the side stuff to do. It's not just all opened up at once.
Let's talk about how good the swinging is.
The swinging is the controls in this game are unbelievable. Like, you can just, everything you do looks cool. Like, whether you're fighting dudes, whether you're swinging, you get some like animations like where it doesn't quite, like when you're getting close to the ground and it can like skip some frames or get stuck. But it just, like, my daughter picked up the controller and was just like instantly just swinging around doing Spider-Man stuff. And she's just now getting into games. Like, so, but she could, it's like 2 buttons and you're just doing Spider-Man stuff.
And I really can't figure out a way how they could have made the swinging part better. It's simple, but also if you want to do it at maximum velocity, there's a rhythm that you have to get down, and it's not like super difficult or anything, but it requires attention and just the right amount that if you were Spider-Man, you'd have to put into doing this. It's really awesome. And it looked, like you said, it looks super cool.
It does. It all looks, even with all the different costumes, like, it's flawless. The different costumes that he wears, even during the cutscenes when they change he's wearing the costume that you have on it. The load screens have the costume that you're wearing. I think it's all really cool.
Yeah.
They put a lot of work into the details here, even in Manhattan.
Insane. It's just literally insane.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing, and everything was very intentional, and I do appreciate that.
It's amazing when you think back at older video games and I guess older Spider-Man games if you want, but they're worried about the colors of the costume back then, and getting like just the very basic details right. Now they have to put in like the shoe patterns on the bottom of the feet, and like you can see the fabric like seams basically.
And I like that they like the costumes they give you when the game basically starts. I like that you can play with this new one that Insomniac made, or you could play with the classic Spider-Man costume that an old man like me may prefer. I kind of like
you went straight there.
That choice.
Yeah. You went. I went straight there as well.
But that was I appreciated that development decision a lot.
Yeah, and that you can use whatever power with whatever suit. Like they unlock with the suits, but then you can just like use whichever one you want. Which
do you have a favorite power?
I have not messed around with too many of them. I like the web blast one that sticks everybody to the ground, just because if you get surrounded, it's just like an easy screw this button.
What's better than that, similar effect, is the one in the Stark suit, the one from Homecoming, that looks a lot like the classic suit, not the Infinity War one.
Right.
That one, it just releases it's called Spider Bro.
Yeah.
And it's a little drone that pops out and shocks everybody around you and just knocks them onto the ground. Similar, just
Shockier.
different graphics, I guess, but I like that one the best personally. So, I don't know. Again, that's kind of the fun with the game, though, is kind of playing around with that kind of stuff. I also think it's kind of cool to see the iron spider claws pop out of different costumes where it doesn't belong.
It's like a quality of life decision that they made. I mean, they're like, all right, it's not the most believable thing in this universe.
But if it's what you want to see, they let you do it. If you don't want to do QuickTime events, you don't have to do those either.
They could have made it a pain in the ass to change into each suit. They could have made you go back to Peter's apartment to do that because it doesn't make much sense. You can save
anywhere
otherwise.
at any time. Also, that's another thing
nice.
I like.
It's really good. I was having a problem.
The writing's good as well.
Yep, and it makes it fun to play as, or interesting rather, at least, to play as Peter Parker or the other characters that you play as.
Mildly. It's not as interesting as being Spider-Man.
Of course not. But at least it's a nice little break and gets you. Hasn't been too long. At least the scenes that I played. How far are you guys into the game?
I want to say when I started playing last night, I was just over 40%. So I don't know where I am right now.
I'm in the mid 30%, somewhere in there.
But that's not like story. That's
no, but
I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
No, I know.
I'm like not very far into the story. Like I've not met up with many supervillains at all.
You haven't met up with Miles yet.
I've met Miles.
No.
They show him in the trailers. That's
yes,
really
I know he's in the trailer.
Yeah, no, I've not done that.
I know who the main bad guy is.
Sure, he's on the cover of the game or different.
Like I've gotten to that. That's what I'm saying. Like I hit that story beat.
Yeah, yeah. We're in the same spot, I believe, Wombat.
So I'm a little past that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I really like the game a lot. It's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
My only complaint was really early in the game, you have to fight Kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to use R1 a lot to web him up. And for whatever reason, it was just killing my hand using the PlayStation controller. And I did it and I got through it, but it's like, oh man, like this is not really comfortable. And as you play the game, that doesn't really happen ever again where you have to do that. Because you have to keep doing it over and over again to kill him. Do you remember? Am I crazy?
I do. It's yeah.
Yeah, it's like, all right, this is annoying. So, but I got through it, whatever.
Difficult boss fight.
But it got me thinking, like, isn't there a way to use a Xbox controller with PlayStation? I thought like there was, but I didn't really know what was involved. And So I looked through Amazon stuff, and I found this thing called the Brook. Shit, I should have linked to it. Did I? Oh, I did. The Brook X1 adapter. And it's this little thing that clips onto the front of the Xbox One controller. And it's got a rechargeable battery, too. So you take out the batteries, and it all slides into the battery slot there. You put that thing on. You connect it with a cable to the PlayStation 4, just like you would sync any PlayStation 4 controller. And that's it. Now your Xbox controller is a PlayStation controller. It works completely flawlessly in every way. You can turn on the PlayStation by pushing the thing on the controller. You can turn it off the same way. The only thing is there's no share button, but if you push the select and start buttons at the same time, that emulates the share button. There's there's button mapping. You can use it with the Switch also, which I haven't tested, but I would imagine it would work just as good as it works with the PlayStation. So if you hate the PlayStation controller, you can spend $50 and buy the Brook X1 adapter, like I did, and use that.
Cool.
I was surprised that it just. I figured there would be some it works, but you have to use a cable, or you can't. I don't know. You can't turn it on or something. I don't know. It works fine. It works perfect though.
Cool.
At Carl Kramer writes in. He says, your prayers have been answered. Voice commands for Xbox without the Kinect. So
yes, I didn't know we had moved past.
Are we past new releases?
Oh, sorry.
I'm like, God, you just jumped right ahead.
I thought we were almost done with the show. I got excited.
We just talked about Spider-Man.
We just talked about Spider-Man. It's the only game we talked about, and
That's enough.
We didn't even talk about photo mode.
I was thinking about playing more Spider-Man. Okay. Yes, the photo mode is very good.
Photo mode is fun. My kids and I enjoy playing with it. Okay, we can move on.